All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you all for being here. Sorry for being a little bit late, 7 minutes late, my bad. But if you have followed me before, that tends to happen. Also, joking, but blame Larry because he called me right as I was preparing for you all. But appreciate you being here. We're going to get started in just a minute. Want to make sure everyone can hear me and everything is good and set up. Take a sip of water. Everyone, drink your water today because it's been a long day and we all need water, especially Creighton. Yes, I am on Rob time. And real quick, Katrina, thank you for the super chat. Yes, all super chats go towards my camera. If you're wondering, why can't I see you, James? Where's your camera? It's because I don't have a camera, and if I set up my phone, then I wouldn't have audio, and I feel like having a good audio is more important right now. So probably only another week, y'all, and I'll be able to get a camera, and then that'll be cool, so y'all can see me. But I want to answer this question: how do I become a member? I don't have this set up, so very sorry, Katrina. I promise by this weekend I will have members set up. All of this for you all. I'll be doing more content where I'll actually maybe post my notes so you all can see all the different reactions, all the different things I take notes of. Of course, a typed outline. I am sorry if the video is blurry. If that's the case, I hope it's not me. Um, Let me know if there's a big issue. It should be pretty clear. But yes, a lot of crazy things for today. A lot of insane courtroom reactions. We're going to get to all of that. Sue, thank you very much. I'm going to save questions as they come. I'm going to save all of this as they come as well. So, if if you have a question about what happened today, just put capital Q or question in capital letters or some of those red question marks, and that'll help me, and I'll try to save them as best as I can. Real quick, we'll get this because I see it from Debbie in North Carolina. Did Creighton Waters upset the jury today? Absolutely. And I don't know if they're upset with him specifically or just the entire nature of the trial, the back and forth. I think they're frustrated with Alex' refusal to answer questions and take responsibility. But of course, Creighton Waters does not help. But we're gonna get all of that. We're gonna get to the lady with the tissue. Ooh, we're gonna juror with tissue in their ears. We're gonna get to all of the craziness. Hello, DUI guy raid. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. We're on day 24 of the Alex Murdaugh trial. Oh, we're also going to get to the insane misinformation by the corporate media who said that two jurors were crying, which is not true. We'll get to that because if you watch the Johnny Depp trial, then you know that court TV is not always the purveyor of the most accurate information. Maybe that's a polite way to say it. As much as I really enjoy Chanley's reporting, and she is a very nice person, and she always helped out whenever I needed it, and she answered all my questions well, and I don't feel like she was being elusive with her answers or trying to mislead me personally. I do find some of the other things that Court TV reports to be suspect. So, no offense to them, but definitely not good reporting on this one because there no jurors were crying, y'all. Let's just say it that way. And yeah, saving questions as they come. Appreciate y'all being here. And just real quick, of course, if you want to support me, you don't have to send super chats and all that. You can just like this video. Just want to say that I'm a grifter, but I'm not that much of a grifter. You feel me? But let's get started here. Save some questions. This is for me being late. Just real quick, I know I've showed this on a few of my other streams. I just want to start with this as well. This is the current jury breakdown. So, as you all see, we have 4 jurors that are out, and then this is the breakup of the rest of the jurors. We really don't have that many left. So basically, just 2 left, and then, I mean, and then you're out of alternates, which is why maybe some of the jurors don't feel like they need to behave in certain ways because it's possible that they are just alternates. I don't know who the alternates are at this point. I think for me to find out, I'd have to go backwards and listen to all of the streams of the jury selection and find out which ones were chosen, which numbers were the alternates, and then cross reference that with my earlier notes about the jury selection process, where I wrote down every single juror number and who they were and things like that. But of course, that will be a process. So for now, oh shoot, people are saying it's blurry. I do apologize. Hmm. It could be if you're on YouTube, maybe. Oh shoot. Why is it blurry? Is this me? Is this StreamYard? Let me look at settings in StreamYard. Standard definition. Oh, I know that's the camera. I do apologize. I don't know what's wrong if it's blurry. Okay, some people are saying it's blurry, some people are saying it's not. So if it looks blurry to you, try clicking this little settings bar on your YouTube video that you're watching right now, and then click maybe one of the different quality selections. Maybe you have it on a lower quality. So if you're having an issue, click that on your YouTube video and check it out. So or refresh your page. Cool. So let's keep going. So here's the jury selection. Um, I did post on Twitter. I want to get to some Twitter replies that I saw real quick from earlier. What is going on in court after jury was dismissed for lunch, but before the gallery council was released? So yes, this is a moment I'm going to get to. Interesting moment. It's definitely interesting being there. It took a while for me to find out what actually happened. I had to talk to 3 different people, and actually, I feel bad because what I got and told Larry at lunch wasn't the most accurate. It wasn't until, and I told him that's why I didn't really want to say anything yet because I wasn't totally sure and I wanted to double check with another source, and I did, and I found out better information. So we'll get to that. Uh, Hear from Jessica. Hey, I think I just saw you on camera. Is anyone buying this testimony? Yeah, sometimes I think you probably saw me today. I was sitting in this. Well, I sit in the same spot, so you'll see me. But I don't know if anyone. I think people are buying parts of the testimony. I've said this before about yesterday's stream. I don't feel like people are connecting with Alec the way he needs them to emotionally, especially during the parts of him, being extremely vulnerable and breaking down. I didn't see that emotional connection in the jury with the jurors, and you really do need that. That was something that was essential during the Johnny Depp trial as well. Amber Heard took the stand and she cried her eyes out. Well, that's not true. She didn't actually cry, but she attempted to cry her eyes out. And the whole point of that was to really connect with the jury to make them feel for you and then use that as a way to, convince people because, ethos is a way to win arguments. You learn that in debate and things like that. So Amber tried to do that and it didn't work for her because the jury didn't buy it. And I'm not saying that it matters in this case because you don't have to think he's a good guy to acquit him or not think he's guilty of these crimes. So the jurors, there could be, that doubt. And we'll get to all of that and what you all think about is there enough evidence or not. I'm not saying either way. I'm just saying it's different from the jurors who they really have to look at it specifically. And some of them might make that emotional vote based on if they like him or not, but that's not really how they're supposed to. Another question from Air Sick. Did a juror cover their face with a blanket? What happened? Yeah, so I told this story yesterday. I'll tell this story real quick right now. And I see a super chat and not a super chat, a chat uh, asking this just as I looked. So that's kind of fun. I'll tell this story about the juror with the blanket because it ties into this juror today. So there's a juror that I'm gonna now call RBF, maybe, or cheetah print. You all decide which one you like better, but we'll say this juror is a juror that is constantly giving mean looks to pretty much everyone in the audience, and forbid you lock eye contact with this juror. They will stare you down, as I said before, like a dementor sucking your soul out. And it's quite funny, but it's also not kind of funny because I do think that this juror complained to the court and I had to have it talking to. It was very light. It wasn't a serious talking to. It was very they actually found it funny because they understand what I'm doing is really not malicious at all. It's just taking notes and reading the jury. And I don't say anything personal about them. I've never said anything, and I would never say anything that would identify them or even about their appearances. But I think a number of them actually can play, but this one is very angry at people in the audience, and they basically covered their face with a blanket yesterday at one point during the testimony. When it was at the moment when Alec was talking about arriving to his, you know, the tragedy that he arrived at, and when he tried to see if there was a pulse and check them when the phone popped out. This is the moment that this juror basically had the blanket covering their face. And I just think that that was really funny. A lot of people noticed it. I don't know what it means. It wasn't like crying or anything like that, but this person, yeah, they did cover their face with a blanket. And it was just not behavior that I've ever seen in court. Now, listen, the blankets are there because it is so freaking cold. It has to be maybe they turn it down to 50 degrees, probably less than that for the courtroom. It's got to be in between 50 and 60 because it's very, very cold. And I think they do that, excuse me, because at first it was kind of boring and the jury was falling asleep at a lot of times. Like there was a juror who was resting. This juror is now gone. Um, I think they were the one of the ones that had COVID, but they were actually resting on the American flag behind them and falling asleep at some points in the beginning of the trial. So then the court, at first, started to make everyone stand up so they could, get their legs moving and everything, and that, helped. But then they just decided to turn the court down to like 50 degrees. So everyone's freezing now. They've given blankets to all the jurors, and because of that now. Well, excuse me. I don't think the court gave them blankets. They're now allowed to bring their own blankets from home, and I think that it kind of could be as a distraction, like it was for this juror who was legitimately covering their face with the blanket. And we'll get to that as well. We'll get to what they did today because, as you all guessed, this is probably the same juror that I was talking about earlier. Thank you, Kathy, for the super chat, and I've saved other super chats if you've sent one. I see this right now, so I want to get to it. What are your thoughts on Alex Murdaugh not standing up for the jury? Okay, so actually, this is a good because I do want to address this. The court does not make us stand up for the jury, and this might be different in this court, but we stand up for the judge. You don't have to stand up for the jury. The bailiff says all rise when the judge comes in and out, but it's not mandatory that anyone stand for the jury. Now, actually, I could be completely wrong about this, that the defense and prosecution and like himself are supposed to stand up. That actually might be the case, and I'm sure people in the chat probably can tell me that. Actually, I think that's what it is. I don't know if he's just so used to it he doesn't feel like he needs to stand. Maybe he's kind of weak at points. I don't think it's that big of a deal because I also, as I've said before, find this court to be extremely relaxed and unconventional, and I mean kind of like a circus is how I would describe it. I don't mean to be rude. And I really appreciate Judge Newman. I don't mean he's presiding over a circus, but it has kind of deformed into a circus. I mean, tell me what y'all think in the chat about that. But um, yeah, crazy, crazy things. Very bizarre, y'all. Very, very bizarre. Danielle thinks she was covering her face because Alex was testifying about how he found Paul. Speculation she was thinking about pics of Paul and maybe hiding expression, couldn't handle Alex at the moment. I don't. That's not. I thought about that too, but there were other points that this juror did not care. Then there were other parts that were just as gruesome that he was describing, and this juror was like not even like doing anything. So I don't think that's part of it. But that is a good guess. I thought that at first, Danielle. Yeah, I think I explained why it's cold. Very cold, just because they want to keep us awake, everything like that. I'm not going to say how old this juror that I'm talking about is. I don't want to give demographic information about the jurors I tell stories about. I will do that all after the trial. I can do that and tell you all about just the general characteristics of the different people. Nothing that would, of course, do anything. I'm not improper like that, but Southern Gal, do you think the jurors are in fear of cartel at all? And I'd sway their vote no. No, 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 no. And we'll get to that because I actually spoke to someone in Walterboro, a few people in Walterboro when I went around to the local shops today, and they had some interesting thoughts about all of that and about basically how the local community feels about it. And I think it's a lot less serious than is as dramatized by shows like HBO and Netflix and the news that makes them out to seem like this mob family that's going to come after you. I don't think the cartel was involved in this situation. If it were, why isn't Alec saying anything? Why isn't he working with the FBI? Wouldn't he want to get his wife and child back? Is he just shutting up now because they're going to come after the rest of them? I don't know. Then you have to think, that means their whole family is in it, and is this whole family scared? Is Lynn, just sitting in there scared because of the cartel? Is John Marvin and Randy just there? I get it. It's interesting, and it definitely is something I thought about at first, and I do believe parts of it are true. Maybe Alec was doing certain things, washing money certain ways, because he has a legal background, and of course he knows how to maneuver things, and the law enforcement connection that we saw in the past few days, how he was basically given so much extra benefits. That's insane. I mean, having blue lights in your car and a solicitor's badge. I mean, he's driving around pretty much like he's like a detective running the town. I mean, it's insane. I don't know how y'all thought about that, but that's what it felt like in court. Becca, thank you for the super chat. Has the judge noticed the tissue in ear juror? I don't believe so. We're going to get to that story. I don't know unless something happened after court. I don't listen. I saw a tweet about this. I don't know how credible it is. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to check with a few other people, but I haven't heard anything about the juror being reprimanded. So let's go on. So here's the breakdown for today, what we'll talk about during this stream. First, we will go through the family members that were in court real quick. Then we'll talk about the overall juror reactions from the day and the most serious moments. We will talk about what happened with the bailiff at lunch, what they whispered to the judge, and why that happened. Then we'll get into why the mainstream media was lying about jurors crying. And by the way, everyone, I did speak to the anchor from local CBS, the person who did not write the article, but the person who represents that media station. And I'm going to tell you all the story about what he said to me. And we actually had a good talk about it. So that will be interesting. We'll talk about the jurors putting tissues in their ear. We'll get to that story. We have a lot to talk about, y'all, tonight. We'll try to get it through quick because I know Rob and Ian, they're doing a fun stream. They just got in the plane ride, and I want to get it all wrapped up. But we have a lot of fun things to talk about. So we'll talk about the juror putting tissues in their ears, and then I will answer just more general questions. I'll try to get some questions as I go through. Super chats. Will try to see if I can pin them while I talk, but otherwise, I'm gonna try to save everything until the end. And if I do answer one of your questions, if your question is any of these 6 bullet points, just know that I'm going to get to it. So if you have questions that I don't address and you want me to talk about something extra, definitely ask me and I will address that because that is what I'm here for. I want to answer all your questions, but again, if it's one of these 6 things, I'm going to get to it. So no need to ask about that. Um, Az Farrell, thank you for the super chat. It's crazy. I almost expect Waters to whip it out to compare. All right. I mean, it's getting to the point where it feels very like a personal match between these 2 individuals. So yes. Wow. Okay. The chat's going live. Appreciate it, y'all. Chat is live. I'm saving these real quick. I'm gonna start with number one. Just want to get these 2 super chats. Daria Smeh. The whole case makes me wish ChatGPT accurately handled the investigation, organized the prosecution's case, and maintained the courtroom decorum. Yeah, right. Um, in this case, it's a circus, y'all. It is a freaking circus in Walterboro, and I say that with a heavy heart because the clerk of court, Becky Hill, is such a nice person. She's handled everything since day one with such grace and southern hospitality, and everyone at the court there, the officers are very kind. They're funny. They're in good spirit. And then the judge himself, I appreciate him at times. I think well, we'll get to all that, but in general, I feel for him. He's in a tough situation. He had a very tough loss with his family recently. So I don't mean to say it's not their fault that it's a circus, but it's become a circus, y'all. There's no other way to describe it. But from Outcool, saw you on DY Guy. What's your backstory? How did you become James from Court? Is this your job? Travel is a cheap merch. We want to support your great efforts. Thank you. Actually, I do want to make a merch and all of that. I'm almost done with the website that I created. It's actually nothing special, but it's just taking me forever because I actually do other work as well. I just started covering trials at the Johnny Depp trial because I watched all of the other streamers like Emily T. Baker, like Rob, like Larry, like Kurt, like Nate, like Alita, like Nick. All of them shoot. I know that I'm for Ian. I'm probably forgetting 4 people. Don't hate on me a lot, y'all. But anyway, those are who I watched at first, and that's how I got into all of this. So enough about me. Let's move on. And yes, so just real quick, if you think I should do like a members uh, option for this stream so I can talk about more questions like this and share my, like more personal life things, let me know in the chat. If there's enough interest, I'll do that. I can make like a members, you know, live or whatever it's called. But moving on, let's get to the fun stuff. So, real quick, the family members that were in court today, not as many as we saw the day that Buster testified. So today we saw Lynn. We had Buster, of course. We had his girlfriend, Brooklyn, who I now can remember. If you know, I'm notoriously terrible with names. I called her Brittany for many weeks. But anyway, it's Brooklyn. She was there as well. Lynn sat next to her. Then we had sitting next to Lynn, we had Randy. Then we had John Marvin. Lynn's daughter came in halfway through, I want to say, and sat next to her. John Marvin's wife was not there, which is interesting. I like seeing her because She's always very emotional, and I just feel like she's one of the more realer people of the family. I like to gauge her because sometimes she'll be very stern and sometimes she'll be very emotional, and I feel like that's a good gauge on what she thinks about what's going on, you know? Because sometimes when she's looking at Alex, she's like no expression on her face. Like, example, I'll give you all that picture that they keep showing, the defense keeps showing about Alec, or it's not about, but of Alec, Buster, Paul, and Maggie, and it's of them at the, what was it, a baby shower or something? And they keep showing that photo. Well, John Marvin's wife would not look at it. She would not look at it at all. Didn't turn her head, nothing. The other family members looked, they smiled, things like that. And I've seen her. She'll smile at Maggie's sister and cry. She'll smile at Buster when he testified, everything like that. She seems like a very emotional person. So, yeah. I just thought that that was kind of interesting. If you have any questions about the family, otherwise, put them on and I'll save them. Oh, real quick, I'm seeing this from Stina. Yep, very true. This is how it all got started. All right, next. Overall juror reactions. I know y'all want to know about the jury's reactions, of course, so we'll get to that kind of fun stuff. Here's what I can say. The jury, I think, is over this. I think they're really annoyed. I think they're really upset with the back and forth. I can see them visually upset. We have one juror who the entire time was pretty neutral. I didn't know what to think about him. He doesn't really respond. Now he'll put his hand in his head. Or excuse me, other way around. He'll put his head in his hand. He did this thing where he actually was like rubbing his eyebrows during a testimony today, like he was like having a migraine. And then he'll sit back and he'll stare at the ceiling and like roll his eyes in the back of his head. We have another juror who I'll tell you all, it's RBF or Cheetah Print, or Mean Mug, the OG name of Mean Mug. I like it, but I just feel like it's a little mean. But I don't mean it to be mean. I just mean this juror mean mugs everyone in the court. But anyway, this juror um, actually, besides for, we'll get to the other what happened later, but in the beginning, and I whispered to Gigi, who I was sitting next to again today, I was like, "Did you see this?" The juror put their hand over their eyes like they were shielding themselves from the sunlight, like you would do if you're walking outside, and was like leaning up, like leaning on the chair, and had their hands over their eyes during parts of the testimony. And I think part of that is an annoyance with Alec and his Alec. Look at, I'm sounding like I'm from here now, calling him Alec. I'm just, why don't we call him Papa and Mag Mag and Roro, and I'm just Bubba, and I'm friends with all of them now, right? Handsome. I'm just one of the Murdaughs. No, Alex. It's not that. What was I trying to say? Oh yeah, it's during his testimony, and I just feel like, um, I don't know. I don't know if that's. I mean, I'm not trying to say anything like she dislikes him or whatever, but I think it was just annoyance with him avoiding questions, annoyance with Creighton for going back on things that we've talked about. It felt like going in a circle, y'all know. And I definitely it was getting to at least 2 to 3 of the jurors. I know. The rest of them were pretty composed, did a pretty good job. I felt like it wore one of the jurors who the only thing I'll say about this juror is this juror always dresses very, very nice. The only juror that dresses up for court. Um, and this juror dresses up pretty much every day, actually, every single day. Very much dresses up how like I dress up, like to that level of formality. So I think that's, I'll just say that. So basically, what was I saying about that? That juror was getting annoyed as well. And I don't mean necessarily annoyed, but just tired, like resting down, like putting their head in their hands and stuff at points. And that's pretty much the most reaction I've seen out of them. because that juror really just to sit there and stare and is pretty blank expression even as they walk in and out. A lot of jurors will look at the audience as they walk in and out, just like scanning and things like that. And this juror makes a point to just like look down or look ahead. So when I see someone like that who's looking tired and looking over it, I can say that probably a lot of them feel like that. But to specific testimony, which is what I'll get to now, I felt like part of the testimonies where Alex would assert certain things that we knew weren't necessarily true bothered the jury member. So I'm just gonna look to look at the actual, and I can tell you their specific reactions. Excuse me, because I really do my notes, y'all. And maybe I'll take pictures of my notes and put it on a members thing, or maybe I'll just sell my notebook to someone who wants it, so you can see how crazy my notes are because it's just all these times and each reaction. So I have to go through and I'm trying to think of what happened so I can tell you a good accurate thing. So here, what yes, so I have here when Alec was talking about he was in the shower when he was talking about I guess being in the shower and Buster not Buster, excuse me, Paul was supposedly he didn't know where he was or he wasn't in the house at that time. This was around 12:15. I have at 12:15 one of the jurors gave like an open wide look at Alec when he was testifying. Like you would be like, they open their eyes real wide. Another juror tilted their head back, rolled their eyes when Alec is clarifying what he said to Blanca and Shelley. Okay, so I can tell you this: at 12:24 ish, one juror tilted their head back, rolled their eyes when Alec was clarifying what he said to Blanca and Shelley. It was a lot. I mean, it depends. I don't think they love the times where he's having to over justify something or wiggle out of something that they know that Creighton. Okay, so maybe Creighton is in the wrong for beating this over, uh, the head so many times. However, Alec is like weaseling out of answering it because he doesn't want to seem like he lied. He can't say certain things. And I think that also wanes on the jury. I see them. And it's hard because I'm not saying the entire jury is like this. There's probably 2 to 3 who are extremely critical. I would say there's 4 to 5 who are very hard to read. But I see more and more jurors making reactions as his testimony goes on. And I just feel like it was really it's just turning out not to be great and not even for the ways I thought him testifying would not be good, It's just it's like he's not saying anything that's making it worse, but everything he's saying is just digging a hole deeper and deeper that he can't get out of, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but if you understand what I'm trying to say, then hopefully you do. And hopefully that uh, kind of describes it. And I'll get to more jury reactions as I look through my notes. I'm sorry they're not super prepared, but let's move on and talk about what happened with the bailiff at lunch, because you all might have seen in the live stream that we were paused for a second and that the bailiff walked up to the judge and whispered something, but y'all can't see everything that happened in the courtroom. So let me tell you the story. So basically, the jury left. They were walked out, of course. And then one of the bailiffs walks because everyone starts to stand up and talk, and the chatter. I mean, it gets really loud, y'all. I'll tell you more stories about court probably at the end. But I mean, they now have to. The bailiffs will like yell multiple times, like "order, order," or like "be quiet," because it gets so loud in that courtroom. People are almost yelling, talking over each other. And again, that's just a description of how the culture of this court is. It's become a circus just because, I mean, there's no rules. I mean, once you have the defense pointing a firearm, which is part of the evidence, at the state prosecutors and says tempting, and the courtroom erupts in laughter, you know that it's just become a circus. It's now a street carnival. It is no longer a trial. It is a trial within a trial within a trial within a circus tent. Um, how do you feel about that? It's insane. So what happened after that, the bailiff walks down because it starts to get loud. They walk down the aisle and they hold up their hands, and I don't know if he said wait or something, but everyone paused and we're looking at him, and then he walks out. The judge says to sit back down. We all sit back down. We're all wondering what the heck is going on. We wait probably a good 30 seconds, and then he walks back in. We're all expecting, I mean, all the like we're sitting there, the news people were looking at him like, is he gonna say something? He walks on. He must have felt like the king at that moment, like he has the juiciest piece of information. Everyone in the courtroom wants to know why he paused and what's going on and what happened. He strolls right up, opens that little thing, walks up to the judge, whispers in his ear. We all think he's gonna like stop and like announce what's going on. No, of course not, right? He goes, he whispers to the judge, and then the judge is like, okay, everyone leave. And that's it. So you all saw the whisper part and everyone leave, and we were all like buzzing, wondering what's happening. I asked a few people, no one really knew. I heard at first that it had something to do with the elevator working. Then someone said it was someone sitting in the wrong spot, which didn't really make sense. But someone had been sitting in the wrong spot. Multiple people. Apparently, y'all, the court artist is getting themselves into quite a little bit of trouble because uh, well, 2 days ago, they walked in with the jury and sat in the jury box with the entire jury, and the judge had to tell them, "You can't sit with the jury, you have to go sit in a different spot." They actually had to say it 2 times for the person to realize that the judge was talking to them, so I think that was kinda funny, but we were trying to figure out what it is. Basically, after lunch, I talked to Gigi from Pretty Lies and Alibis, and she told me that, or she had confirmed basically that it wasn't, I'm gonna, the buildup is not gonna be as exciting because it wasn't as exciting. It was just that uh, Alec had to be walked out before everyone. I mean, well, actually, it is kind of exciting because the rumor behind it is that people were trying to pass him notes in the hallway. People in the audience during lunch and things like that were trying to pass him, I guess, either letters. I don't know if they were love letters or secret admirers or Valentine's cards or what. But apparently, there were rumors that people were trying to pass things to him, and I think the court did not like that. So they let him go first and they held us back for like a good minute so that no one, he would get completely out of the courthouse before we would leave the room. So, yeah, kind of interesting, right? So, what do you think about that? But again, I mean, this is not new. Like this courtroom is crazy. In the beginning, they had to the judge had to come out and basically say to everyone, remind people that you're not allowed to talk to the jury. So I don't know if people in the beginning were trying to talk to them in the hallways or different things like that, but everything about this court is crazy. And I see the chat is going a little fast. Let me see if I can put on subscriber only. Let me see if I can do that from the YouTube channel. But while I do that, I will talk. Remember, if you have any questions, put a capital Q or question mark or those red question marks or a super chat, and I will try to save it and see it. If you don't want to do super chat because you don't like that 30% thing, I do have other methods of supporting me, and I can post that. I was gonna post that at the end, but I can post that as well, or one of the mods maybe can post that. Justice for Bubba. That is right. Justice for Bubba. All right, Sloman. I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to answer more questions. But now we'll talk about this juicy, fun segment. Were the jurors crying? Let's put this to rest once and for all, y'all, because I'm so sick of this misinformation. And, I learned this lesson during the Johnny Depp trial. It really was, it was so bizarre to have the mainstream corporate press, the legacy media, who's supposed to be the bastion of information and journalism. It's so crazy to see them outright lie and make things up. I don't know if it's for ratings or doing, or for what, but it really is insane to see them lie like that, really for no reason. I mean, does it make a difference if two jury? I guess the clicks, right, to have that, that spread, because then it looks like, I don't know, they're the ones that broke it. So, one second. Excuse me, sorry. So Court TV are the people that broke this story. Apparently, is what I heard, and we all know Court TV doesn't have the best record with information. I will start this by saying they also reported yesterday that John Grisham was in court, and I saw Jack Sobiak. I don't know if that's how to say his name, but someone retweeted him. Oh, not someone. The son of the person I'm talking about retweeted him, and I'll retweet that so y'all can see that. I was gonna do that tonight. Um, he retweeted. He's like, I can't believe. I guess my dad looks like John Grisham, because there are people now retweeting this, and it was actually all over the news. It was picked up by like a German station and by Daily Mail and other places that John Grisham was in court at the not Johnny Depp, at the Alex Murdaugh trial. Well, everyone, it was not John Grisham. It was the mayor of Walterboro. I spoke with him actually. We were walking pretty much side by side as court was getting out. So I looked at him and I was like, everyone's talking about you online. You know that, right? He's like, yeah. He was like, you have no idea. He was like, everyone's been asking. He's like, people have been asking for interviews. Everyone's said John Grisham. I joked. I was like, you could be an impersonator after if you don't want to be the mayor anymore. But yeah, so it was the mayor of Walterboro, y'all. He was there. He said people were even coming up to him in court saying, I love your work, things like that. It was actually really funny. So after we kept talking all the way until we walked out, because we were talking about other things, the Johnny Depp trial, things like that. And we were talking out front of the courthouse, and all the big, like the media people, like you'll see them on the news, the local reporters, they were joking with him. They're like, hey, when's your next book coming out? Things like that. Because it had gone around at this point that, everyone was saying that he was John Grisham, which he was not. Long story short, this was Court TV, y'all, that reported. Court TV, they're the ones with the inside scoop. They're the ones with the camera in the courtroom. They have a literal producer sitting there in the courtroom. I see him every day. They couldn't find someone to ask before they reported that. I mean, it's insane, and that went around everywhere. Google it. Google John Grisham in court, and look at all the people that believed that. I had people asking me in streams. I had people asking me in chat. I had people in court that believed it. So, very funny. Very, very funny. And we'll get to the next thing, because the local CBS station then reported that two jurors were crying. And who reported that originally? Court TV. I don't know why Court TV. And I have to find the article. If y'all want to find it, um, find it for me, who originally posted it. But I heard it was Court TV. So this is what happened. I found who wrote the article from CBS, and I went in and I found because the people who wrote the article weren't there, and they actually neither of them were in court all day. So one of the people who wrote the CBS art, the local CBS article, I think it's WSCC or something like that, WSSC maybe, or WCSC. I don't know. I'm sorry, y'all, but I'll retweet it later. But anyway, one of the people who wrote the article is just like a online tech reporter who doesn't even go to these things. One of the other people does come to trial a little bit, but hadn't been trial yesterday or today. And then another one, the same thing. We're not in trial yesterday or today. So none of them even were in the courtroom to report that any of the jurors were crying. So basically, I went in, I was asked around, and I asked the different people in the courtroom. This was after break during lunch, and everyone's in the courtroom. They start to let the audience in because, oh, I'll tell you all this, the audience is packed now. I mean, Larry got there, what, at 5:50, and he couldn't get in? I mean, people were lined up probably at 4 in the morning. So they let people in very, very slowly at lunch. But if you're media or part of the, either staff media or part of either teams, you can pretty much walk in and out freely through security and things like that. So basically, what was I saying? Sorry. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I walked into the courtroom and I was talking to all of the, media people because in the courtroom, as they're letting the audience in, it's just a buzz, of different media people talking. I was asking around, where the CBS people are because I knew this was CBS. So I found the main anchor whose name is, let me get it for y'all. Because you'll know how bad I am with names, right? I will not say his name right, and I'll feel really bad about that. Cameron Bopp. Yeah, I definitely wasn't going to say that right. But Cameron Bopp, and he's actually really nice, and he has been in court most of the days. I think the days he doesn't come in is because he's actually like a legit anchor on the local CBS station. But I went up to him and I said, hey, do you work for CBS? And he was like, yeah. I was like, do you know any of these people? And I showed him the names. He was like, yeah, yeah, they're the reporters, but they're not here. I said, well, do you know that you all basically put out a story that said, the jurors were crying? Oh no, I started with asking him. I, me, I got to be a little salty. So I was like, hey, did you see any of the jurors crying yesterday? He was like, no, no, why? I was like, well, I was like, CBS, your station, wrote that. I saw the article and I showed him the names and we talked and he agreed and he said there was no crying. He was actually kind of shocked that they put that and he said he was going to talk to them and figure that out. He said that Court TV had reported it and he didn't know anything about his station reporting on that. So um, I thought he was actually quite nice and we had a good chat about that and it turned out to be not as exciting or dramatic as there wasn't some sort of James versus Taylor Lorenz kind of uh, word match, but it was quite amicable, and he's gonna look into it, and I'll post his Twitter on my Twitter later today, and I'll tweet about that interaction and stuff. But I can confirm with you all that yeah, there was no juror that was crying, not at all. And I think it would be very significant if a juror was crying because that shows an emotional connection that the defense needs. But here's the thing I think it also is significant that no juror was crying because, I mean, they were not connecting him in that way while he was up there, pretty much catatonic, sobbing, and you saw the pictures, and I'm not going to make fun of the way he looks. I know people were saying certain things, but listen, if regardless, if I had done something that horrible or I was innocent being tried for something that horrible, I probably would be as emotional as he is up there. So, you know, it's hard either way, but the point is that the jurors did not have that connection to him, and that's significant and he needed that. I couldn't have done it popcorn power because I'm not 5'2". I might almost be a short king, but I'm not 5'2". I'm not that short. But I'm also not 12, although I do look 12. No, I don't. I'm actually wouldn't say that's crazy. Just joking. Okay. Let's move on because that's all for that section. And here is the tweet that I should have started with this. Here's the tweet that I put out. basically about, should I confront local news? And really quick, I want to shout out Southern Gal. Thank you very much. I see that in here, so I appreciate it. Trying to get to everything. It's hard to see everything, and if I don't thank you for something, I do apologize because it's hard for me to keep track of all the different devices right now. But let's go on to the juror putting tissues in their ears because that's crazy, right? I mean, I don't know if we're gonna have an issue here with this juror. I did see something on Twitter about it. I saw who was it? I don't know what that person's name is. Y'all can maybe if you saw it, you can post it in the chat. But no, y'all. By the way, I'm not even close to 5'2". Not even close. So I wasn't trying to insinuate that I'm even near 5'2". I'm not. But not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't fit the description. Also, I couldn't have done it because um, I don't have a hatred for Paul. Like Alex said, the person who did it had to have a deep, deep hatred for him. And to be honest, I didn't even know who he was at the time, nor do I care about their family at all. Um, but anyway, I'm just joking, y'all. Okay, so the juror putting tissues in their ears. Why did they do it? I don't know. Well, basically, one of the jurors was sitting there, and next to him, okay, I'll tell y'all. It's the RBF. You guessed it. Cheetah print, RBF, mean mug. It's that juror. And the juror, I guess because they couldn't have their blanket to comfort them, decided to stuff tissues in their ears. They actually, and this wasn't like tissues that they brought. They asked the person to give them the tissues. They pulled the tissue out of the tissue box, and then they rolled it up and literally put it in their like rolled it up. Like you make it into, I guess, like a point, and then shoved it in their ears and put it there, and then fixed themselves so like you couldn't see, but you could see white like puffs sticking out. Yo, when I tell y'all, the people in front of us, who if you see on the stream that sits in front of me, he is from NBC. I don't know his name, but I gotta get his name better. Um, I don't talk to him that much, that's why I don't know his name. But he's big. He's on all the state on not all the stations. He's on NBC, but he's on the news. And then there was the other guy who sits next to him who, I mean, what is it? We're coming the last 2 weeks, so I'll just tell y'all. I think this guy is totally in with the defense, like hardcore, but we'll get to that. But anyway, he's technically media, and I think he's going to say something about this lady. But anyway, the guy next to him whispered and told him about it, and he looked and saw it. And then I looked at Gigi from Pretty Lies and Alibis, Law and Crime. Shout out to Gigi, she's awesome. And I pointed that out to her, and she laughed as well. So a bunch of us saw it. It was really funny. I think it's just a combination of her being done with this whole court. I don't think she did it like, listen, if you put tissues in, it's not that you can't see, like you can't hear anymore. She could probably still hear, but we were also at the audio portion where it was the I don't want to say interrogation. It was the least interrogation video I've ever seen. Let's say the questioning Alec with puppy paw mitts. Um, when they did that, it was quite loud in the courtroom because it was a video and the audio sometimes is low. So I think they've increased the volume. And that could be why the juror put tissues in their ears. I don't know. Again, I don't think it's something where the juror wasn't able to hear anyone. But I also think this juror is just over it. It really could be. I don't think this jury isn't ill, isn't sick. I don't think it was like ear medication or things. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Someone said they saw it yesterday as well with this juror, but I don't know. I mean, tell me what you think. What do you think that means? I mean, besides for meaning that this court again is a freaking circus, what do you think stuffing tissues in your ear on on the juror box in the jury seats means? I mean, that's true. It is cold in the courtroom, so maybe maybe they're trying to keep their ears warm. I don't know. All right, let me go. I'm gonna get this stream figured out real quick. Let me put it on slow mode for y'all, or at least subscriber or something. Give me a second, because I think we're actually at the question portion. So if y'all have questions, put more questions and tell me what topic you want me to talk about next. Just getting my YouTube up. Excuse me. Yeah, so what do you want me to talk about for today besides for just maybe general feelings and reactions? I mean, did anything happen at the very end? No, nothing specific. I mean, just the general nature I think of this court is getting out of control, and I think I'm excited to see it wrap up. I think we've come to the end. I tell me what you think about Creighton and his finish with Cross, and if you think it was effective or not. And yes, sorry, Southern Girl, if you didn't hear me earlier, thank you for the Cash App donation. Thank you for everyone, by the way. All right, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out this chat mode. And then get to all of your questions in 1 second. Do I see live? Options. Oops, no, okay. Uh-oh, I don't know how to do this actually. How do I do slow mode, y'all? Darn it. Let me just answer questions and then I'll try to figure this out. Questions, okay. From Alicia, what was your reaction in the court and by the judge to Poot asking to incentivize the judge's decision for two lawyers to close? Yes. Well, the judge is done with all of them, to be honest. I think the judge, I mean, I don't know why the judge allows all of this, but he lets things happen that shouldn't. So at this point, I don't think he's bothered by a lot of the craziness that goes on. The court, I mean, they laugh at these kinds of things. They find the theatrics funny. You think sometimes they're laughing with Poot, but they're actually sometimes laughing at him. Wendy, thank you for the super chat. Just want to say hello, new subscriber here. Love what you're doing. You're true and genuine. Thank you for that. Thank you, Wendy. Question from Saint Pat Brat. Could you clarify for me? Was it Alex, the bailiff, thought may have a note passed to him from the gallery, or was it the concern from someone trying to pass notes to jurors in the hallway? No, it wasn't jurors in the hallway. It was passing notes to Alex from the people in the gallery passing notes to Alex. Yeah, that was what I was told, and I trust Gigi because she's got good information. Chronicles of the Shady question: when the judge tells y'all not to show emotion or burst out, is he speaking to the jury also? No, this is okay. Yeah, so this also happened, y'all. Basically, the judge had to tell everyone in the courtroom no cheering, no jeering, no reactions because before, during one of the objections, that was overruled by the judge. Not, yeah, overruled. People in the jury, excuse me, not the jury, talking too fast. People in the audience were clapping at that ruling by the judge. So that wasn't good. Yes, I didn't say Shanley is here. I just like Shanley, but Shanley is not here from Court TV. She hasn't been here for a while. Word on the street is people don't know actually when she's coming back. So that's kind of sad because I like her. Question from insignificant one. When is your birthday or just your astrological sign? I will keep you all guessing because I want to be an enigma. Brenda, thank you for the super chat. A question for your setup. How do you feel? Oh, money for your setup. Thank you. Thank you. Question: how do you feel the likely of jurors knowing Alex personally, being from there, and in my opinion, Court TV acts like mainstream media, care more for clicks and facts? That's probably true about Court TV. Uh, I hope that the people on the jury, in the jury, excuse me, do not know Alex because technically they, I mean, they were weeded out in the jury selection process. They were supposedly told that, were asked, excuse me, if they in any way knew him or the family, and they were supposed to have answered appropriately and honestly. I think it's hard because again, I think it's hard in Walterboro to find anyone that doesn't really know about this, but I'm sure there are. I'd like to think not. And they did they went through a rigorous process, you know. So Maggie, thank you so much for the super chat. How does the family interact? Are they divided? I do feel in ways they act differently. Some of them are more divided. Buster's very emotionless and disconnected from the family. Lynn is seems to be very supportive. She's very interested. She's very reactionary and it seems like invested in all bits of the testimony. She's constantly leaning in and listening and things like that. Randy and John Marvin are very stoic. John Marvin gets upset and emotional at times, especially when talking about Paul and Maggie and what happened to them. But the most emotion I see is from John Marvin's wife, and I don't think that she likes Alex. But I don't know. I'm just saying that I feel like she's divided from them just from her reaction. Don't hold me to that, y'all. Cynthia, thank you so much for the super sticker. I can't see the super sticker, but I hope it's fun. Audra, thank you for the super chat. Hit the like, y'all. Yeah, hit the like if you want. It helps me with the YouTube things. I'm just trying to grow my channel. If you want to subscribe, if you haven't subscribed already, I'd love to hit maybe 25,000. I think I'm at 20,000 now. 50,000 would be awesome if I could hit 50,000 subscribers. That would make me kind of happy. And then maybe just another 2,000 on Twitter if y'all want to follow me if you want just to see my updates, but no pressure. Brenda, thank you for the super chat. What is your favorite thing about the trial? The gallery, the people, the antics in court, all of the above. The gallery, the people, the antics, the dramatic high school nature of the media sometimes. It's funny. I mean, I feel bad because it's got to be draining on some of the people that work there that have to deal with this every day, and it's almost like making a mockery of it, but I don't think that's necessarily the case because I feel like that's just the culture maybe of this county, of this courthouse. And I think that a lot of us looking at it from a different perspective, maybe I'm looking at it from someone who experienced the Johnny Depp trial in Virginia. You all are, either experienced in your own counties, with the court systems, or you watch, one of the streamers talk about their experiences in court. And I think all of us have very different experiences from this courthouse. And, I'm not trying to say that well, it's a little unnatural. And I guess the former attorney general did say, especially about the firearm incident, holding it up at them that was, you know, extremely unusual. So I don't know. Question from MB. Did anyone react to Alex Murdaugh saying, I can tell you for a fact that the person or the people who did that saw on 7th, they hated Paul Murdaugh and they had anger in their heart? I did hear like whispers from the audience when that happened. I didn't see the jury pick up on that so much. There were definitely reactions from the jury, other parts of that testimony that, they're looking up, kind of zoning him out, at points shaking their head when he's, going around and saying different things, especially running in circles. Shanta, thank you. James, you don't have membership set up. It would show. Okay, yes, I don't have membership set up, but should I, y'all? I guess if Shanta's asking, that means maybe I should. Let me set up a membership. I'll do that this weekend, and then you can have more access to all of my notes. You can have more access to behind the scenes information and what I'm doing, my lunches, whatever. Because I don't want to bore everyone with that. But if you want, I can give y'all my extra notes. Fire Pixie, thank you. I dig what you do. Our eyes in court. Love from South Carolina. That's what I try to be. Try to be the eyes and the ears from the courtroom. Ashley King, thank you so much for giving me the numbers of the jury alternates because that's perfect. I'm gonna check that out. Midi Park, super chat. You think the reason defense did not object to all the asked and answered and bring up 12-year-old interrupt Alex Murdaugh answers, etc., is so jury will hate Waters? I think that's definitely a tactic that people use. I think they let uh, the attorneys get aggressive with the witness on purpose. I don't know if that's what they're doing here, only because they never object. Like, no one ever objects in this trial. What's going on, y'all? They never object. And then, well, then they object later on 1,000 times to the objection they didn't object to, right? Linda T, thank you very much. It is always, oh wait, yeah, it is always interesting to hear from people who are actually in the courtroom. Thank you for the information. Yeah, that's what I tried to do. I want to give you all everything you want to hear. So always feel free to ask questions. Tell me what you want from court. That's why I do it. Kyle G, question. Why do the people on the stand get to answer a paragraph answer when it's a yes or no? That bothers me so much. You saw in the Johnny Depp trial, Camille Vasquez was really good at this. She would, Amber would try to elaborate on something to explain her way out of a bad look, and Camille would say, "Excuse me, no, yes or no. This is what I'm asking." And that's what they won't do here. I don't know why they just refuse to say, "Excuse me, please, just answer this yes or no." They don't have to do like Creighton is doing and then like cut him off in the middle of a sentence, like let him talk and then cut him off and then have the defense object to him cutting off the answer and then the judge say, "We'll let him finish," because he's not finishing. He's answered the question. He's just now, what is it called? I'm blanking on the word that they do in Congress. Um, it's only because I've been in court all day, y'all, that I can't think of this word. I promise. I actually do know what it is. But anyway, y'all know what I'm trying to say. And, if Alec is going to do that, of course, Waters has every right to say to him, "No, Mr. Murdaugh, please just answer the question, yes or no." So, and Alec doesn't need, I love at one point, Alec argued and then he went on to continue answering the question for like 2 minutes. Whoever gave him permission to do that? Waters needs to tell him, "I'm not being rude. You have a yes or no question, answer it yes or no. It's not your right to then answer with a paragraph." So, question from Isaac G. Do you have any insight as to what the Attorney General, Alan Wilson, the bald guy in the middle of the prosecution table, has been doing and his reactions? Yes, he is very invested in this trial. He's very, very, and very invested. Extremely invested. He didn't show up at first, but then he started to. Now he's like always talking to them, always doing things with the prosecution. Oh shoot, I gotta save a lot of these. Appreciate y'all. Let me save some of these chats real quick while I get through here because I don't want to miss them. I don't want to miss anything. I want to get all your questions. I see the red question marks. Thank you very much. That's helpful. The colored super chats also helpful. Eventually, very soon, hopefully, y'all will see me. I'll have a camera. Trying to think. I think I really love Emily's. Emily and Rob. I feel like Rob got the same one Emily because his looks very similar to her. But I love Emily D. Baker's setup. She is a really great setup, and I think Rob has a good. Actually, well, Kurt too from Uncivil Law. He has the same thing. I love his lighting and his camera as well. So whatever they get, filibuster, y'all. I see that filibuster. How come I'm so? Oof, long day at court. Can we just chalk that up to a very, very, very long day at court? Um, Listening to people talk back and forth to each other. It was not good. It was tiresome, very tiresome. All right, questions. Now I'm going to get to questions. Real quick, I see this right now. I usually sit in the second row of the second section. We like to call it the what do we call it? The something media. The back row media, I think is what we call it, because we're like the not part of the cool kids club. People who sell misinformation, basically, right? Okay. Questions. We're gonna get to the chats. Oh, I think I answered these. Miss L, I heard a video got shown on TikTok that showed the jurors from a news media. Send me this if this is true. I didn't see that. Cleo7, thank you very much. Was there any particular points of Creighton's questioning that actually hit well with the jury? Yeah, I think absolutely. I think the parts that painted Alex Murdaugh as a liar and as someone who used the law enforcement, I think Alec did not do a good job. He wanted to paint himself as someone that was both a victim of the police department, but then someone who was like buddy buddy and could, you know, with them. And you don't have it both ways. And I think the jury understood that. Debbie, thanks for the great observations, updates. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate that. Everything's going to my camera fund. Midi Park again. Waters question. Some good. Uh, Watching from home, his constant hammering to get the word or may lack a moment he wants seem desperate. Waters question. Some good. Hold on. I need to read this properly. I don't understand it. Watching from home, his constant hammering to get the word or may. I think I understand what you're saying. What you're trying to say, and I think I agree with you. Mags, thank you very much. Creighton was so repetitive. If I was a juror, I would rebuke him. I think so. I think the jurors were getting very upset with the entire situation, the back and forth. I don't think they appreciated it because Creighton Waters could have handled it better. He could have shortened it. He didn't have to go so hard and drag that out so much. He could have made as much of a point, if not a better point, by being more concise. Rebecca Welty, thank you very much. Sorry if this was addressed already. Were you there yesterday morning when the judge said, ma'am, you can't sit in the jury box? Just curious to that. Yeah, hilarious. I did tell this story, but I'll tell it again, Rebecca, if you're still here. Hopefully this was 11 minutes ago, but I hope you heard Rebecca. Basically, what happened was the sketch artist sat in the jury box and the judge had to tell them twice. The person didn't she didn't see it at first. And then the judge told her, and she got up and moved. I think she was a new sketch artist. They changed one out. It was another woman, and then she was a new person. So I guess she didn't know the rules that you're not supposed to sit with the jury. She walked in with them too. I don't know. Like, it's just the whole thing was bizarro. Yeah. Mags Designs, thank you again. Uh, how does a family oh, I already answered that. That's why. Sorry, y'all. Okay. I do have Kathy, why hasn't Waters hit on the fact that he said he checked for a pulse then called 911? Wouldn't there be blood in the phone in the car? There's always this talk about how much blood there was. Yeah, good point. Very good point. Isaac G, thank you very much for the super chat. Do you have any insight as to what the attorney general? Oh, answered that. Y'all, my bad. I just answered that. Okay. So let me get through here. Because I see 99 new chats. Poppy, thank you very much for your camera fund. You set yes, set up paid membership. I will. I will, Poppy. Kimberly, thank you very much. I appreciate you being there. But your ignorance regarding common knowledge regarding law is very apparent. This is a hung jury 100%. Emily, Natalie, and every attorney has concurred. I don't think if I said it wasn't going to be a hung jury, Kimberly. I didn't say that it wasn't going to be a hung jury. I've said many times that you cannot like Alec, but that doesn't mean that you think he did this or you think there's enough evidence to think that he did it. Or the fact that, I mean, all you need is one juror, too. And there's more than one juror who I see trouble for if you're the prosecution. Absolutely. So thank you for uh, giving me money to tell me I'm ignorant. I always love that. Please give me more money and um, tell me how awful I am. It feeds me. Question, Marin, have you had a chance to talk to Mandy Matney about the Netflix special? Is there any reason not to watch it? Love your work. I did see Mandy's interesting tweet about that, and I would love to talk to her more about that. Mandy and I have a interesting, well, we've never spoken, so I would love to talk to her. Mary D wants to know why I have over 75,000 Twitter followers. It's impressive. Uh, well, if you were Alec, you might say, what would I say? Well, I don't know if it's impressive. I wouldn't really call that impressive. It could be considered impressive by some, but I certainly don't consider it to. I would never categorize it. No, I'm just joking. I love all of each and every one of you. I think I actually have a little bit more than 75, but all of you Twitter followers, I do appreciate and love. I got a Twitter following from the Johnny Depp trial. I was there every day in court, talking about the trial, talking about the reactions from inside the court when a lot of people were lying during the Johnny Depp trial, and that's what happened. And here we are. Here we are today. Sheila, do you think the jury I I roll because I'm talking to jury like ah? Is this a gotcha? Is this supposed to be like a lyric to something or sound like something else? Or uh, is this a haiku? I don't know. Sorry. A lady gnome of the woods. Hello again. James, do you get to go home for the weekend? Yeah. Yeah, I actually do. Most of the weekends I go either back to my apartment or to visit family. Mag says, I wish Alec would have answered yes or no. Instead, he continued talking using his charisma, and I think that was detrimental. 100%. I think it didn't. The only reason is that it didn't look good for the jury. One, because they are very sick of this. So the fact that he is dragging it out, if it's only Creighton Waters that keeps dragging things out and Alec is keep answering yes, keep answering no, keep having to explain things, then it kind of is like, wow, it's really the prosecution that's doing this. But when Alec has to like over explain himself over and over again, to me, it wanes on the jury. And I think it would be more beneficial for him to just answer yes or no. Tiffany, thank you very much. James, I appreciate your input so much. I love watching the lawyers. EDB is my girl. Yep, EDB is queen. I think there's the Court of LawTube, Emily D. Baker's Queen, Nick Ricade is the Pope. We've got, the Dukes and the Duchesses, uh, all of, our other favorite law tubers. So, but they think they are so technically about trials. You give more real human input. Thank you. Thank you. Well, that's why I offer something a little bit different. I am one of you all. I'm just a law nerd, interested in all of this stuff, who watches the streams, and I happen to be an analyst by profession and a pretty good writer. And I think I read people pretty well. I'm pretty intuitive, so I decided to go to court and just give my observations. I always let you know if I'm giving you an opinion versus an observation because I don't want to blend the two. I don't ever want you to think that my observation is an opinion or my opinion is an observation. Let me go back down at the bottom, try to pick up more chats and everything. Sorry, y'all. Taking a minute. The chat is going quick. I never did get the slow chat set up, and I do apologize for that for all of you in the chat who are having to deal with it if it is going too quickly. Next time I'll get that set up and I'll figure that out. But because I've never really had this problem before, it's kind of an exciting problem to have. I think we had 32 people in here at one point, which is the most I've ever had in a stream. I didn't say that earlier, and actually probably should have said that. That's the most I've ever had in a stream, so that's really cool. That's like um, levels of some other people that I think I really look up to. So, and I know that we've got some other streams going on right now, and we'll get done here quickly so we can all hop over and stuff. But I do want to answer more questions because there's a lot of times to have fun, but we really gotta we gotta talk about court. We want to talk about all the crazy things that happened, and we talked about most of them. But if I can just answer more of your questions, I'll do that. So, Mary Sarah, not sure why someone stated that you are not. Okay, well, whatever. We'll get past that. Everyone's allowed to have their opinion. And honestly, if you're giving me $5 or more, you can say whatever you want to me. You can call me ignorant. You can call me dumb. Uh, anything. No, I'm just joking. But I don't mind. Just give me money. Mary D. Sorry, I got lazy and didn't put exact number. I'm glad I found your account here and on Twitter. Oh, thank you, Mary. And I'm just joking, of course, about what I said, but I don't get offended when anyone says anything mean to me. Everyone has an opinion. Cameron Cook, do you think the defense is running a PR campaign? Seems like they may be. I think both defense and prosecution are running PR campaigns right now at this point. Question, Sheila, do you think the jury eye rolling was because Alex was talking to the jury like Amber Heard did? He was talking to her a little. He was talking to the jury a little different than her, but yeah, in a similar way. That kind of I can talk my way out of anything. I think that same hubris we see. And yes, of course, I said Alita. Did I not? My bad. Stephanie, how did the jury react when they called Alex's stand? Were they surprised? I think they were very not energetic. What's the word? Enthused when he took the stand. I mean, immediately they perked up and then leaned in to see him closer. Thank you, thank you. Seeing some of these nice chats. Appreciate all the nice words and everything like that. I did just get a Twitter DM from Gigi from Pretty Lies and Alibis on LawTube. I think it could be about some of the questions. Oh, someone said 3,700. Did I have 3,700 people in the stream? I thought it was 3,200. Question, Stephanie Mizeski. Sorry. How did the jury react when? Oh, I just answered that, y'all. JSD's question. Any insider info about what Alex got charged with today? I did not see that. So, real quick, let me check. Should we check the DMs from Pretty Lies and Alibis? Yeah, she just sent that. So here's the thing. I think that website might be malicious. I think that might be a fake setup website. If you look at the URL address, it looks really sus. If y'all want to check on that, I tried to check on that and I found it to be a little sus. I couldn't find anything from a real Colton County website or a real database when I searched for the prison system of South Carolina. I couldn't find any website that looked like the one in the link that showed that Alex was charged with something today. So, yes, of course, legal advice too, by the way. But yeah, so if y'all want to find out about this supposed arrest, I just got the DM from Pretty Lies and Alibi, and it is about that. And she's just saying that it's bizarre. And then she sent me the picture that we all saw on Twitter about that. And I don't think it's legit. So I'm going to read your chats and see what you say about that, but I don't think it is. Oh, yes, Tragos is about to come on too. Okay. That's true. I'm sorry. I do like him. He's really good. I've never interacted with her. Him. Oh my God. Her. I'm reading someone who said her in the chat, so I said that. I apologize. I haven't interacted with him that much. Heart of Inspiration, thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you for your dedication. I hope that if people get on juries, they remember that the verdict is supposed to be based on evidence and law and not feelings and emotion. Exactly. Exactly. And they were reminded that this isn't about character. This is about motive, and they need to stick to the evidence of motive. And I hope that they do that. But I think there needs to be a way to, I mean, of course, the problem is that humans are emotional beings and we're always going to be dictated by emotions at times, you know? So it's hard to devoid yourself of emotion unless we're like, what is that movie, Blade Runner, where you go into the little thing and they ask you a bunch of questions and supposed to have no emotion. If they can get to that point and then the jurors go in, then maybe we'll get to a point. But I get what you're saying, and I agree. They're really supposed to just look at the evidence. Amanda, thank you very much for the super chat. Question, another one from JSDs. Wait, I already answered that. How come I'm seeing that again? My bad. James, is the jury liking the pet James AD uses? The pet James AD uses. What? I don't know what that means. Legal Hunting wants to know the juror breakdown, the demographic. I'll go back to that, y'all, if you want, and we can just leave it there for a minute. So while I talk, you all can see that. This is the jury breakdown. Thank you for the super sticker, B&B. Appreciate that. See this question again. I don't understand it. Maria Rodriguez. How many jurors do you think are with the prosecution? Three. Three for sure, I think, are with the prosecution. Kimmy Davis. You're awesome. I love your content. Have a good weekend and have a cocktail. Cheers. Cheers to you, Kimmy. Heck yeah. Appreciate that. I have to look into the Sarah Boone trial, Jeanette. I see this. I'll look into that trial. I'll be going to a few trials this summer. I will be excited to see my friend Nate the lawyer testifying in trial. I also will probably go to the Brian Koberger trial, although I don't look forward to that because that's going to be crazy. Thank you very much, MB, for the super sticker. Moving on, hold on. Swiping up, because I think I missed someone here. I do apologize. Oh, I see this, Amanda. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Is my input priceless, y'all? What do you think? I could put a price on it. No, I'm kidding. I feel like I missed one, so I have, I'm looking real quick. Bear with me, y'all, and then I'm gonna go back down and answer more questions. If y'all have more questions about the jury and things like that, or just general reactions from court, general things about the family. Hmm. Question: what was Judge Newman's expression when Alex addressed him directly? I mean, he's not happy. He's pretty good. He's not going to make any outlandish expression, especially in that moment, because all the eyes are on him. Now, when the eyes aren't on him, he won't really do an expression, but he'll do like quick glances. But this was not a moment for that. He's got to be really professional. But yeah, MC Towsley. Here's a translation of Sheila's haiku. She was asking, "Do you think the jury eye rolled because Alex Murdaugh was talking to jury like an a-hole?" Yes, yes, 100%. That's why I do. That's what I think. Thank you for translating that. I don't know why I had issue reading with it. Long day, and these chats go quick. And sorry. All right, let me keep going. Let me try to find. Comment from Olga: It was 67 degrees in the courtroom today. Oh, was it? We can see on the thermostat behind the witness stand. It didn't feel. It felt a little colder than that, Olga. I'm not gonna lie, but 67. It did get warmer at the end of the day, which was nice. I actually saw one of the guys take off his sports coat. But you know why they keep it cold? Keep us awake. Alicia, will you go to the Vallow Daybell trial? I don't think I will because it's 10 weeks. Gigi from Law and Crime is going, but it seems very long and it's kind of it's a really tough. That's a really tough content and subject matter to go to. But if the other Law Tube people stream it actually it won't be streamed. It won't be televised. So I'll have to see if I can emotionally handle that trial. JSD's arrest is real under inmates. I don't listen. Y'all have to find the name. Not the name, the link. I don't think that's legit. I really don't think that link's legit. But what do you think? Look at the link and check. Look at the address in it. It seems to be very sus and very sketch. Delphi case. Hello, Jennifer. Am I going to cover the Delphi case? I haven't heard of that one. Actually, I need to look into it. Always looking for the next thing to cover. Probably whichever ones people stream, whichever one Emily's going to stream, Nick's going to stream, Kurt. I'm not trying to forget people, Legal Bites, whoever, only because those are the people that streamed during the last trial. Not a lot of the people actually streamed all day during it. But yeah, whoever LawTube are covering, 100%. Question from Cleo: What was the Judge Newman's expression when Alex addressed? Oh, I already answered this. Sorry. Question from Tiffany: From your observations, do you believe the jury will be hung jury, or are they leaning more towards acquittal or guilty? I think it will be hung. I personally, I think you have jurors who will find him guilty just based on their own personal opinion of him, and I think you'll have jurors that are not going to do that. So I think it's going to be mixed. Jules, thank you very much. Do you think the defense was giving Alex Murdaugh signals? Yesterday, they seemed to do a lot of hand movements. I can't see it because I see from behind, so I wouldn't even see if they do the hand movements. Y'all can see better. I'll look at the camera. I would not be surprised knowing all of them and in them inside the courtroom. 100%. JST says it's on the sheriff website under current inmates. Click today's date. It's on the sheriff's website. All right, I will look at sheriff's Colton County website and I will get back to y'all about that. I want to look into it before I talk about it. Mags, thank you very much for the super chat. I'm pulling for you. Thank you. Please tell us how the families gather on breaks and lunch. Are both families united? Hoping third time is a charm. Did you send this earlier? I didn't see the super chat. Okay. Are the families are both families united? Do you mean Maggie's family and Murdaugh's family? Because excuse me, yeah, Maggie's family's not there. So Murdaugh's family, they all leave and they go for lunch together. But otherwise, yeah, Maggie's family's not there. Olga, now that's all said and done, do you think Alex should have testified? Probably not, to be honest with you. Probably not. But at the same time, it looks bad when he doesn't to the jury, you know? Danielle wants to know if I got propane for the grill. I did get propane and I made delicious burgers and yeah, I had burgers. It was quite late, but I ate and I actually made them again for dinner tonight before the stream. I made burgers, I made grilled mushrooms, I made grilled onions, grilled zucchini, and what else I make? Oh, corn on the cob, and I cut off the corn on the cob and I mixed it with butter. Oh, and scalloped potatoes. I had made scalloped potatoes too. So delicious dinner. Thank you for asking. Southern Gal, thank you very much for the super chat. Anyone else think that we need more checks to be a juror? After hearing about this jury, what is the oddest thing you ever saw any juror do overall? I mean, there were jurors in the Johnny Depp trial who straight up fell asleep and made much more facial reactions than this jury. I will say, I think stuffing the tissues in the ears and covering your face with the blanket is probably the oddest thing I've seen. But if anyone hears, and I would love to actually ask the other lawyers, I'd love to ask some of the trial lawyers in our community what their craziest moments from court were as far as the jury, if they ever saw juries do crazy things or get kicked out for things like that. Can imagine a lot of crazy things. Kathy, thank you for the super chat. Sometimes the camera zooms in on a family member in the audience. Would they know? Is it evident when the camera moves around? No. So the cameras are far and it's not like it you can see when it zooms in. It's all internal, so you would have no idea. You can see when they move, like if it's looking in your direction, so you'll know you're in it. I wouldn't be surprised if they were somewhat aware of that, but they don't know if it's zoomed in on them completely. Legal Hunting says, call you on Natalie, lawyer chick, last night. Great stuff. Your perspective is really valuable. Thank you. Thank you. I love to chat with everyone. I love to get everyone else's perspective as well. I like to offer just straight up observations, hear everyone's responses, and then kind of build that in from what I experience in court. And then I kind of like to build a perspective as well. But I try to be completely, neutral at times. Question from Truth Sticks. Why didn't prosecution not nail home? How do you find your loved ones like that? Yet your first thought is to lie about their last moments together. Who does that? Not how. Exactly. It was such a missed opportunity, and they irritated me by dragging on some things over and over that didn't feel necessary, but then avoiding other things that feel like missed opportunities. Question from Mini Park. Thanks, James. Keep doing what you do. I think you're onto something. I'm working on some data-driven facts about what you do. Oh, thanks. Burger, yes, delicious burger. A cheeseburger actually, but very good. I actually make very good burgers. It doesn't really take much, to be honest with you. Oh, Stephanie, did I skip your question? I'm sorry. It's hard. I've got to fix the chat so it's just subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please do. But that's why the chat is going a little fast. So I can't get every single chat, y'all. That's why the super chats are helpful. Um, or if you put big capital Q's or question marks, but it really is hard to see. I'm trying to get these super chats first because, I don't want to miss them, but I don't want to miss all y'all's questions either. So bear with me here. And I'm just seeing this because it's right here. Oh, Masio, what was your read on Buster? He seemed kind of bored with Alex's testimony, or like he didn't believe him. He didn't seem to connect emotionally. I don't think it's that he didn't believe him. I think Buster just is not an emotional person, and he doesn't have emotion. No, not that he doesn't have emotion. Excuse me. He doesn't show emotion in this courtroom. Question from Fawn Hart: did the jury have any interesting reactions when it was shown Alex was in the withdrawal stage before the murders? There was one jury member who didn't like the talk of withdrawal and drugs and things like that. I don't know if it's that because that juror has either a personal connection to that or maybe a family member, or maybe just they were bored in that moment, but they did seem disconnected. Green Eyes wants me to recap the juror with the tissue in the ear. I would I would say go back and listen to it, but let me tell it one more time if you want. Basically, just this one juror stuffed tissues in their ear. They made like I don't know a Q-tip functioning Q-tip and put it in their ears. I don't know for what reason, but it's the same juror that put a blanket over their face yesterday, which was funny. And by the way, I've said many times in my streams before that I'm not judging how Buster reacts emotionally at all. Everyone deals with trauma differently. I'm just saying the observations. So no, Buster does not have emotion in court. Make that what you will. I don't I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying it is what it is. I'll tell you that I would be different, but that's not judging him at all. So that's a totally normal response to maybe have PTSD and be completely uh, you know, emotionless, or that's just how you deal with trauma. Question from Natasha: how engaged were the jury during all of this? Questioning of Alex Murdaugh and the financial crimes. Were they tuning out as it went quite a long time? Love your input, James. Yep, they were tuning out. There were parts they were tuning in, but for the most part, it was over and over and over again. So yeah, tuning out. And yes, I probably will be answering a few more questions and heading out. But I'll answer a few more questions and then we can maybe raid someone's stream. That will be fun. Question: do you find a difference in the way the trial is run and the JD trial? 100%. Very, very different trials. The courtroom in the Virginia trial was way more strict than this court. I found the attorneys in both defense and, well, in the JD trial, it was not like defense and prosecution, but in both teams of attorneys, I found to be much more organized for as crazy as the lane was. I find these attorneys to be a lot less organized and a lot. I mean, you can tell me what you all think, but that's just how I feel about the courtroom and the actual attorneys themselves. Question: Firefly, wouldn't it be funny if the four-person the judge chose was the blanket ear person? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if it was RBF? I don't think so, but I would love to. I think RBF might be an alternate. That's why they act so uh, flippant with the rules, maybe. My overalls question: did he say he took 100 pills a day? Yes, he did, and I don't know if that's possible. I mean, I guess it depends what dosage, but I don't think so. Sheila, thank you for the super chat. What was the pointed juror? The one with the blanket was the pointed juror. The pointed juror. Which one's pointed? You mean the one that put the tissues in their ears? That was the one with the blanket. The one that covered the blanket with their face. although a lot of them have blankets. But I don't know what you mean by pointed drawer. I do apologize. And yes, I call this juror RBF. I'm not going to say what that means. If you want to know what RBF is, go look it up on Urban Dictionary. I used to call this juror mean mug, but I just feel like that's meaner. I feel like that's. I do think it's kind of funny. The defense attorneys drive much nicer cars than the state prosecutors. I mean, you would expect that, but like much, much nicer cars. And hello, replay crew, by the way, if anyone's still watching this, and hello, everyone's still watching. It was cool. We had a bunch of people earlier, and I appreciate all of you still being here. Even now, with 1,500 of you, this is more than the streams that I've done lately. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Always feel free to let me know what you want me to talk about, leave comments, do all that kind of stuff. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking and interacting. I try to interact as much as I can. As you know, this chat goes kind of fast, and I'm very new to this. So as I get better, I'll get better at saving questions and answering them as they go. A question from Dustin. I might have missed it, but has anyone asked Alex Murdaugh if he didn't kill Maggie and Paul? Does he know who did? I mean, no, actually, not specifically. They asked like about it, and about, who else. And they did, I mean, they played earlier on, what was it? Questioning where they asked Alec and about if he knew anyone else, that could have. But he also said, I mean, he said a wide range of things, his team, cartels, disgruntled people from social media, all that kind of stuff. Question from Hippie Chick is me. Did I understand you correctly that only 3 jurors appear to be with prosecutors and all the rest with defense? No, I didn't say that. I'm not saying the rest are all with defense. I'm just saying I think there are maybe 2 to 4, but I would guess around 3 jurors who I feel very comfortable saying side more positively with prosecution in their reactions. That doesn't mean the rest of them are defense necessarily. I don't know if I had to answer how many with defense, I could do that. It would actually be a harder answer for me. I would just say the rest are either neutral, hard to read, or yes, with the defense. Ranva wants to know if any of the family was surprised by Alex Murdaugh's testimony. Lynn was at the end. She was a little surprised by some of the answers. Oh, my overalls wants to know if I formed my opinion yet. I sort of have. I don't really want to give it yet. Maybe let's wait until deliberation, and I can say what I think. I really want to try to be unbiased until the end, How did the jury react when Alex implied that Shelley and Blanca lied? That was not good. Yeah, there was a few of the jury members who did not react well to that. But these are jury members that I already feel like are more sympathetic towards prosecution anyway, so it didn't really change much for me. But I don't think it was a good look. I haven't seen the Netflix documentary yet. I do need to watch it though. I will say that one of the nicer reporters in the courtroom who I talk to a lot is one of the she's in the trailer. Her name's Valerie, so I'll tweet about her later, and she's very nice, and she's in it. And she actually said though that it was filmed a long time ago before we even knew a lot of this stuff, so she probably would have changed her statement slightly had they, filmed it today, basically. Okay, it's raining here now, South Carolina, which is cool. I don't know if y'all can hear the rain, but awesome, y'all. We're pushing up on an hour and 15 minutes. That's a 5-0, and I've still got 1,400 people here. I really appreciate it. I hope I've answered all your questions and super chats. I'm going to see if there's any super chats I didn't get to in my starred section, and I do apologize if I didn't, really, though, because I really do appreciate that. And I appreciate all the super chats, all the people who donate to my Cash App or PayPal, because it's not to buy fancy things or anything like that. It's really to pay for the trial. Not only do I have to do, every day in a hotel, but then rent that I pay for in my own apartment as well. And, all the fun stuff like I'm going to get a camera and maybe a better laptop so I don't have freezing issues and things like that. And, all the support I get from you all, I'm just going to put back into the channel, back into producing content for you all so I can give you the best streaming experience and best Q&A experience from inside of court and from home for you all. So I think this is a good time when things are slowing down. I think we should. I do see that, Olga. I think she meant appointed, not pointed. Yeah, I don't know who the appointed foreman is. But anyway, I think we should wind down. I know everyone loves to say good night and goodbye and everything together in the chat. But if y'all want, please go. There's a few people streaming. I would urge you to go to Lawn Order, Lawn Order, Lawn Lumber, and say has always been supportive of me. I don't know if Ian's there, but Ian is also a good guy. So yeah, if y'all want to say hi to each other, say good night in the chat, take a few minutes, talk to each other about it, and then make your way over to Rob's stream and say that I sent you. I'm gonna join that stream as well. Glow T, thank you for the super chat. These lawyers are not good example for young lawyers. Very, very dishonest and corrupt. That's definitely listen, Glow T, that is this area. That is South Carolina politics. That is, I mean, that's just how it is. It's big money, big politics, big egos, everything down here, So, Amanda, thank you. Thank you for still following me from the Johnny Depp trial. 100%. And again, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Yeah, Emily's going to be on News Nation in a few weeks. And not a few weeks, in a few minutes. Heck yeah. I love Emily. I love how she does and how she's grown, from a few thousand to what 600, 700,000. I think she just hit. Heck, I mean, I watch her, so that's awesome. I'm so happy for her, so proud of her. If she was streaming right now, I would say go to her stream, but she's not. So let's all go to Law and Lumber and say hello to Rob. Yeah, she said Emily hit 700,000 today. Love Emily. But yeah, everyone, go to Rob, say I sent you. And please like and subscribe if you haven't already, so I can grow my channel as well. I'll never be as big as Emily, but I can. If I dream for the moon, if I shoot for the moon, I'll hit a star. Or if I shoot for the stars, I'll reach the moon. What's the saying? But y'all know what I mean. Y'all feel me. And again, just thank you. Oop, no, I don't have the thank you slide here. Let's go back here. But I was going to thank everyone again. And I'll make a list of all the people. All right, y'all. I'm going to actually dip out for real and just let you all say goodbye to each other and good night. And then I will see you all in Rob's chat. I think Peter is streaming as well. I'm not sure, but I know Rob is, and I know I was talking to him earlier, and he's had me on his stream, and he rated my stream a couple nights ago, and that was awesome. So I'm gonna do the same for him. Head on over to Rob's stream. I'm leaving this. I'm gonna leave it open for just a few minutes while you all again chat, and then I'm gonna uh, hit the end stream button. So good night, y'all. Have a very good rest, and I will see you all tomorrow. Oh, not tomorrow, Monday. We will see all of each other again on Monday. Rob is Law and Lumber. He is also another streamer. I might end up streaming this weekend. If I do, I'll let y'all know. But if not, I'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Peace.